Welcome, my beautiful souls, to another edition of the Soul Surgery Oracle Collective Reading, my beautiful souls. So, let's see what this week has to say energetically. So, as you know, what we've been doing for the last couple of weeks is looking at, my beautiful souls, current purpose for the week that we can focus in on, what we're currently learning. Jeez, we ain't making progress if we ain't learning something, my beautiful souls. We can look at what's going on currently in our lives as a collective, and then action. So some people like to look into the future, and we're not here for forecasting, as I always say, my beautiful souls. So your action, action you take in the here and now is what secures the future that you require, my beautiful soul. So let's start. As you know, we shuffle the decks prior, do all of that meditational stuff, connecting with the spirit. I just don't think it's something that y'all need to necessarily see, my beautiful souls. So let's draw the cards. Ooh, I'm loving this. Hermit energy, my beautiful souls. Hermit. So if I can get this in the light. There we go. Hermit. Take a look so y'all can see. So you can see two gods on here, right? We got the god Ra, and we've got this god called Sekur, my beautiful souls. This god is symbolic of spiritual power. This is the realm of the infinite source of life force energy, my beautiful souls. So those who are into the tree of life Kabbalah, this would be number 3 on the tree of life, which we call Sekur. I think it might be known as it might be Briar or Brian. I can't remember the specific names. So what is the hermit? The hermit energy is all about kind of taking a step back. Yeah, my beautiful souls. Taking a step back out of the everyday rhetoric. It is about realigning back to your divinity, right? It's about, if we look at tarot from the Hierophant and the High Priestess, we could say that the Hierophant works for the High Priestess, right? The High Priestess represents the metaphysical realm, the mysteries, or what they call the mysteries of the world, what's going on behind the veil, right? And how to connect with that energy and to align, right? But then you could say the High Priestess takes that knowledge, right, and applies that knowledge, or makes himself available for people to consult them, right, so that they can, help people basically deal with their problems or their issues, or how to align with self, my beautiful souls. So then we skip forward to the hermit, right? And the hermit is saying, like, it's the retirement of the Hierophant from public service, right, my beautiful souls. Is saying that the hermit requires time in itself so that it can develop higher levels, higher connections to itself. So, in most symbology, you see the hermit is got a lamp, and then it's like it shows you that the hermit is not supposed to go into seclusion permanently, right? The hermit is supposed to go and find what it's looking for, its treasure, and then bring its treasure forth for the world to see. In this essence, it would be your wisdom, your knowledge, blah blah blah. So the message to you as an individual, right, is to take time out, right, is to formulate a routine, maybe self studies, getting into some of the spiritual practices, or yeah, I would say spiritual practices. Ooh, look, there's the Princess of Cups. So some of y'all have already done this, right? This is the purpose overall. It's like, what have you learned in your time of seclusion? What have you learned through your days and nights of studying, right? Because studying is just knowledge, right? It's not wisdom until it's applied. So this is what the hermit represents. It's basically going into the self, right? Very Virgoian energy. So Virgo rules health and well-being, my beautiful souls, if you're into astrology, right? It is the analyst, right? So it gives you the ability to look at those parts of yourself where you feel most vulnerable. So it's like basically going into yourself and making sure you see the blind spots that are pulling the strings behind the scenes when it comes to your own self-esteem, self-worth, self-confidence, spiritual cultivation, all of that. The Princess of Cups, my beautiful souls, is all about release. Well, in this deck, it's about release and communication, right? So she wants to share something. This is the goddess Het Heru. This is the goddess that rules love, Venus, right? Number 7 on the tree of life, right? You can see, I think it's like a form of Nefertim up inside here. So it's showing you that there is a purity that you have, a gift, a talent, a skill set, maybe love, my beautiful souls, right? That you've had to rediscover within yourself. And taking that time out during this hermit mode, your life force, your Ra, was able to replenish, right? You was able to return the life force back to source. So this ain't no different from a person practicing pranayama, right? Pranayama is the breathing techniques that we practice. So we breathe in the life force energy to connect with the prenatal life force that we already was born with, that determines our life expectancy and what we can do in life. So we know that we deplete that energy. So through these pranayamas, these breathing techniques, we are able to replenish with the universal energy. So a lot of people will say that they're healers and they get depleted, they get drained. That's because you're using your own life force energy and you're not replenishing it, where the universe is very fertile. You see these waters there, the primordial waters, it's infinite and abundant, my beautiful souls. You see this river, like these reeds, is almost like there's a gateway for you to cross of abundance. But until you're able to ascend to that level, right? Meaning you have to learn discipline, you have to learn structure, you have to learn about harmony. That's Ma'at energy, how all things are interconnected and interrelated. Then and only then are you able to kind of tap into the essential self and then start to share that essential self from a very disciplined, routined manner. So the purpose is, for some of y'all, would be to go and take that time out. This is almost a pilgrimage, self-pilgrimage that you're going on. Some of y'all have done the pilgrimage. You've been timed out, literally, right? And the question is, what have you got now to bring forward? Are you able to implement the routine? Are you able to act upon the wisdom, the knowledge that you have gained in order to increase your spiritual cultivation, to increase your conscious levels, to have more control over your energies, to not be habitual, to not have refluxes from your emotional programming, not to allow your unconsciousness to, your fears, your traumas to program you. That's the ultimate purpose of the hermit, my beautiful souls, and what we're looking to do. But I love the Princess of Cups. She's so, with the Het Heru energy, I should say. The Het Heru energy is love, sensuality. It's the belief, it's the memory of one's potential, one's potency, one's beauty. Is able to see that beauty in a world of chaos and darkness. Do you understand, my beautiful souls? It's that Venusy energy. Is what are you attracted to, and what you're able to attract to you is that willingness to share or go after what you are, what you require. Right? So that's why I love this energy here attached to the hermit, the spiritual awareness, the spiritual growth, the spiritual cultivation that's going on within the individual person, the self-development, someone learning who and what they are and their place within the universe right now. So what we're learning, look at that. 9 of Swords, my beautiful souls. 9 of Swords. And as you can see, yeah, we've got all the 4 sons of Horus on the side there. Those are the 4 elements. But we've got Uset, right? And she's the number 9. So this 9 of Swords is a Gemini energy, second decan Gemini, just in case that resonates with some of y'all. That's the second week in Gemini. Might be of influence for y'all. But let's take the 9s. The 9 on the tree of life, right, is the initiational point. It's the point where we start in our quest for spiritual development. It's the point where we have to reshape our identity, right? Because we cannot achieve something. If we look at ourselves as broken, wounded, or we're suffering from the way that our minds are currently programmed, we now need to see our higher selves as an archetype for us to move towards. This is what it means by changing your identity. So you can go to therapy and therapy will open Pandora's box. You keep going over this stuff over and over and over from the lens of your programming. That's why it becomes time consuming. The therapist becomes very rich. You don't heal as Much as you find coping mechanisms, you don't actually heal, my beautiful souls. So the first point is to work on identity. What do you identify? What is your God? Are you your God? Or is there something outside of yourself that you want to worship? Because if it's outside of yourself, you can never have it. Right, so this is about awakening the divinity within yourself by knowing that you are a divine child. You are God's child. There's not just one Jesus, or like, you know what I'm saying, my beautiful souls. Every soul is a Jesus. Every soul is a Haru, the warrior that's been born to be able to fight and take back his throne. Do you know what I'm saying, my beautiful souls? So this is the first point. Osset represents that. She represents your emotional programming, right? The trauma that you've experienced, which has now formed your personality, which I'll call your ego, which now needs to be destroyed, yeah, in order to allow you to shine your divinity through, right? So that's what Osset is. She is the divinity, the divinity and the seat, right? So she is a high energy. She is a higher concept. She is your higher self, but in a very low place, my beautiful soul. So she sets the journey, right? And you can see how she also represents transcendence, right? So with this whole Nine of Swords is all about self-imposed anxiety. From where? Right? We're learning that we are not our feelings. We are learning that we are not our past, right? We are constantly changing and evolving. So this energy of anxiety based on an ignorance of self is something that we need to work on, right? So the only way we can work on that is to discover what we are, right? You're always going to have this fear of the world, or of doing something, or of being accepted, or being persecuted, or whatever, because you still identify with the flesh, right? The physical form and the system that has been created from that physical form, which we call society, culture, social constructs, cultural beliefs, religions, politics, education, all of these things which are shaping factors which have shaped you, right? So Osset represents the ability to remove that vow by identifying with something higher and above that vow. We will just call it gods and goddesses. We are all Netarus, my beautiful souls. Do you understand? But she is the devotion, right? She is the tenacity, and she also represents the transcendence ability that we have to go dig in and into that aspects, those unconscious parts of ourselves which are causing us to react to situations in this sense of anxiety. So what about your spirituality causes you anxiety? What about you stepping into your truth, walking your truth, being your own unique soul? What about that causes you anxiety? You think it's the world. It's actually you, because of how you see the world, based on the lens that the world has told you to see yourself, my beautiful souls. So that's the energy of the Nine, right? So for some of y'all, this is a point of initiation, looking at those inner demons, right? Those inner wounds, right? That programming, the nature nurture aspect of your life, your shaping factors, so you can release yourself from a mental torment, this overthinking or this doubting that happens with the Nine of Swords, my beautiful souls. So let's keep it moving. Now we're looking at what's going on currently, right? We've got the Hero of Pentacles. So in this deck, we have heroes. We don't necessarily have, I think we have heroes, kings, and queens. We don't have pages, right? So the hero in this sense is the hero of the earth element, right? Again, we can see this god Saqqara, again, the source of creation, where the life force is destiny, Saturn energy, requiring structure and discipline. And that structure and discipline is not just about your routines, my beautiful soul. That structure and discipline is about understanding how the universe is structured, right? How we have things that maneuver in season. So there's no point crying that it's winter when we know winter's going to be followed by spring, and spring followed by summer. So we need to know how to adjust to all of these different seasons, right? And it's the same for the metaphysical world. What's going on with your development? As you can see, there's like a step. There's patience. We need to take things step by step, my beautiful souls. Understand your past, right? In order to give you back that control in the here and now, which is the Haru energy. Take back control of your will. You see, he's ready to fight because he's about to fight his tyranny of his emotions, right? The world has told you you're this, you're that. He don't care. He don't want to. He got the ability to sever those ties, those social constructs, that expectations, this false personality that we've adopted. Because it's an earth sign, it's saying that this is about graft right now, right? This is about putting in the work, working on a project. So we never went into hermit mode for no reason. Right, we went into hermit mode to gain something, to gain knowledge, to gain some sort of skill, to perfect a skill, right? That kind of energy is what I feel. It'd be different to all people because your hermit mode might not have been so immensely spiritual. It might have just been about you separating yourself from a certain routine, certain people, certain areas, lifestyles, environments, right? And then by doing that, you allow your creativity to flourish. You allow your ideas to seed, right? Or for those of you who are deeply spiritual, are on that spiritual cultivational path, again, this was you realigning your life force energy and realigning your consciousness back to the one consciousness and the one life force. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, come on. This is what I'm talking about. Look at that Sekhmet energy, right? You've got, gosh, Sekhmet everywhere, right? And what does it say? Nefer Temu, right? And Tefnut. So my beautiful soul, Tefnut is the moisture aspect of the universe, the fertility, the abundanceness, the fact that all things contain water, even within the atoms, right? And your physical form. So the water represents a fertility, but you can see that they're always associated to the lion. The lion is symbolic of the life force energy when it's active, right? So this Queen of Pentacles is warm, right? She is wanting to build an empire. She has the plans. She's willing to put down the work. Do you understand? So this hero is saying, my quest is to build an empire. The Queen of Pentacles energy is saying, okay, where's the blueprints? Right? This is a Capricorn energy, the Queen of Pentacles. Capricorn / Sagittarius. So the Sagittarian aspect is you've gained wisdom, you've gone out into the world, you've learned, you've traveled, you've interacted with different people, you're expanding yourself by asking the questions of who am I, right? And by doing that, you've able to say, okay, well, if I'm this thing, I come from a source of infiniteness and infinite potential, then why am I not creating? Why am I not building the reality that I want to build? That's the real essence. That's the Capricorn energy, providing the discipline, the structure, the legacy, right? That is what this energy represents. Sekhmet also represents a form of healing and intensity, a transformation of lower vibrational energy, the animalistic side of you, which is all about desires. But on the flip side, if you have desires, then you also can have disappointment, right? It forces you to find a category or a group to fit into, a bubble to accept. She has this ability to destroy that, right? So it gives you back that power to step back into your alignment and your purpose and your destiny. My beautiful say, destiny, destination. It's like we are all souls that contracted to come here at this specific time to perform some specific tasks. So this Sekar energy, right? The energy of Tefnut, this energy of Sekar, right, is number 3 on the tree of life, is where your blueprint lies for your destiny. So a lot of people dabble with crystals, that dabble with incense. This is what we call white magic. This is the basic soft magic. This is you manipulating the psychic forces that come off all things. When you get to this level of number 3, this is spiritual power. This is when you're able, because you've been tried and tested, you've gone through Ma'at, right? You live the laws of Ma'at, truth. You live truth, right? Your actions denote harmony, right? And an interconnection with all living things. And then you now have to get to Sekar, and then Ma'at asks you to live by the law. Sekar forces you. There is no choice. You understand? No fool, right, could ever inherit real power. So as much as we think the people of the world are powerful with their guns and their bombs, will show you that they're not power, because they built external apparatus or tools that empower them, right? Where spirit's like, do you have the energy or the life force of the entire universe that sustains the universe and moving the universe, which you can manipulate with your consciousness and your will. Now that's real power. That power is what sustains all suns within the galaxy, wherever they exist. Imagine the source of your sun, right, my beautiful soul. This is the real essence of what Ra represents, why he wears the sun disk on his head. It is not this is this doesn't represent, the Ra does not represent the sun. You see this start, the sun also has a snake, right? That Uraeus energy, which is symbolic of the Kundalini. So being able to rise and activate the energy faculties within you and have this one energy flow between the you and the universe. Come on, my beautiful souls. Jeez. So right now, your purpose, right, should be focused on why you here. This is not about just a means to make money, my beautiful souls, right? That's second house energy, or that's your skill set. You identify, if you're into astrology, through your second house, right? Then you have your sixth house, which is what you do for work, right? To generate money in this here and now so you can survive. Then you have a 10th house, right? The 10th house is what is the house of pleasure for the sun. The sun is your image of who you are, your vitality. Why would it sit in the 10th house, the zenith, the highest point in the zodiac, right? Which represents your legacy, also associated or corresponding to Capricorn and Saturn, right? You put it all together. This is your purpose, your legacy, how you're going to be known, your ultimate purpose of being here. What I find is that most people have these three dynamics separate. So most people are discovering their talent, or they're unaware of skills that they have, or the ones that they do have, they're using it only solely for work. In astrology, the sixth house was seen as the laborer's house, was seen as the slave's house, and it's also a house of pleasure. For Mars, it's a house of wealth and well-being. Why would Mars, the malefic, that be a house of pleasure for? Think about this, my beautiful souls, right? And then you've got the 10th house. Like I said, the house of pleasure of the sun, associated to Saturn, structure, order, timing, right? Capricorn, being able to put in and turn up, perfection. But again, energy represents that legacy, my beautiful soul. So you are planting the seeds right now of your legacy. I don't want to hear people talking about, I guess, Galago work. Work is a distraction at this particular time, unless your work is aligned with your purpose, or you're using your work to gain skills like an apprenticeship, right? That you can use that money or that wisdom, right, to build your empire. That is the whole point, right, of the actual work dynamic. It was never supposed to be as like to turn us into cattle, or the be all and end all, or for you to gain your sense of identity through just your 9 to 5, my beautiful souls. Come on, how could something so intelligent create the diversity of life and harmonize it, just create human beings just to be the reflection of another man's broken desires? We are the products of another man's lust and desire for greed, right? That doesn't make no sense, my beautiful souls. Anyway, see, oh, I like it. This is our purpose. This is the action. Ace of Cups. Know your divinity. Know your source of fertility. Some people say this is the love, all of that stuff. No, you see how this person's opening up. The neb is opening up to the universe, my beautiful souls. This is you connecting back. This is the whole point of the Hermit, was for you to invite you back to the point where, who are you? To understand your divinity, to remember your soul contract. Do you understand? It's like, if you know the story of Asar, he was dismembered, of Osiris, he was chopped up into 13 pieces. And you look at the word remember, has remember. So you have to remember the pieces that have been dismembered, right? And that's us. We're asleep. We are in a... It's like we don't remember where we came from, what we are, our potential, our ability, our oneness with the whole entire universe, that we are cosmic dust. Do you understand that will is different to power? Will is what moves power. We are not our emotions, which is the essential energy. You know what I'm saying? So this is tapping back. The aces all go back to number one, Usar, energy. Do you understand that eternal oneness that resides within us all? So when we're making our plans, right? Make sure your plans are based on the fact that you are an infinite being. What you think and what you will is what comes to pass. So if you are not thinking and willing, you are just reacting off emotional impulses. That's what comes to pass. And sometimes that is your fears, and sometimes that is your doubts. Jeez, look at that. The 8 of Pentacles, my beautiful souls. Work on your craft. I told you, it's all leading to this thing. You are your biggest craft. You are the biggest If you talk about the universe is made in love, you are the biggest product of love, my beautiful soul, that the universe could have created. So your ascension, your awakening, or your realization, right, is the biggest way that you appease your God, if you want to call it that way. Do you understand? And you have to understand that our struggles is where real spirituality happens. It ain't through the reading of the books or performing the empty rituals. It's actually at the crossroad when you are challenged, right? Your vulnerability bubbles to the surface, your head starts to go off, but you wrestle it back with the concept of Haru. You take back that control, my beautiful souls. So you, by not identifying with the feelings and the emotions. So we've got to set here again, right? Again, they're saying this initiational energy. So you are here to work on your craft. You have been born with a purpose, a talent, a gift, as a number 8 represents. And it's your responsibility to work on this craft and this gift. This will bring you your riches or your peace, right? But remember, you are the biggest tool, right? So there's any work that you do that focuses on your own development, growing more awareness of this whole entire world. It ain't about joining no cults or no groups or spiritual groups or religions. This is about you having an intimate connection with your intuition and let it guide you. That's hence the word intuition. You're learning from within, right? You're activating another aspect of your consciousness, basically, if you want to put it that way, to guide you, right, into the past that you need to, the things you need to learn or the things you need to be doing, right? So this is an intimate personal connection, right, with your destiny. Is calling. Everyone's destiny is calling them. This is why I'm seeing this God Sekkah twice. Do you understand, my beautiful souls? Why the source, well, number 3 on the tree of life. So we're touching in the Trinity. God is omnipresent. That's the oneness, right? Omniscient, all knowing, because I am one with all things. And because I'm one with all things and know all things, I can create all things. That's my omnipotency. This is what this represents. Omnipotency, right? It's got the crook, right, and the flower, meaning we need to have discipline, righteousness, and uprightedness. You're sitting on the square throne. That's that ma'at energy, right? And then it's got the life force, the uas, saying I control the life force. I am the seat of the life force, right? So this meaning that you are not your emotions, you are not your emotional programming, you are not your nature nurture. You are becoming constantly, right? So this is about, I think people are getting flashes of the things that they would like to do. The things, it's like we're allowing ourselves to accept that it's okay to be passionate. The things we call hobbies are not hobbies. Imagine you can make your hobby your everyday work, and then your everyday work to be your hobby. Like it's like a switch is going off within the human dynamic, because we're just tired of struggling, tired of being cattle, tired of being manipulated by political forces, right? And we've realized that the so-called power that they have over us, we can diminish that because they have it based on our own ignorance or non-willingness to rule ourselves, my beautiful souls. We're looking for luxury or to be told how to wipe our ass and shit. It does not make sense, right? So now we have the ability to rediscover, right, what we are, whom we are, what we enjoy doing, right, what our purpose may be. Look for your purpose in your passions. So if you all you do is work, yeah, and unless you're passionate about that, and that means if you are, then you need to go all the way into it, right? Do you understand? Make it so that it works for you. But if you can find your destiny most likely in the things you are passionate about and the things you are interested in. So do not let your passions and your interests sit under the weight of fear, or maybe they're taboo, or you have low self-esteem, which is crushing that passion. So I'm gonna leave it there, my beautiful souls. Jeez, we went a bit longer than I intended to. So yes, catch us back next week, my beautiful souls. Every Monday I'll be dropping the Soul Surgery Oracle readings. If you would like to see me live, catch me on TikTok, right? The house, HOUS.OF.NU. I'll put the link in my description, and that's on TikTok live every Wednesdays and every Thursdays, and we do exactly what we do here, but it's live, and I do some free readings and all of that goodness there. So love, peace, and abundance, my beautiful souls. Know your potential. Know your potential. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't let this world dim your light. Be the black suns. Do you understand? My beautiful souls. Kaboom.